Whoa. Whoa. It's pretty quiet here. That'll probably be my moment that YouTube will want to share with the world. That's kind of embarrassing. I'm so glad that you're here because it has been eerily quiet. I was so busy trying to find the playlist for Vlogmas that I'm grateful I didn't knock over the phone. My hair looks wild though. Uh, anyway, if you would take a second to like this video, I would also appreciate that. It helps us to get spread far and wide. But as we come into this last gratitude and intention, I always want to call it scope, periscope again, but this last gratitude and intention video, we're celebrating the new year, and yet we're not rigid. We are not, no sound? Okay, thanks. I might have to start again. Good morning. Hi, Sheila. Can you guys hear me right now? Or am I not making any sound? Chris has sound. Okay. Sheila, do you have sound? Rhonda, do you have sound? If you have sound or no sound, please let me know in the comments so I can proceed accordingly. Maybe in that first moment. Okay. Okay. So Sheila and Chris can definitely hear. Rhonda, I don't know, maybe you need to turn your volume up. Maybe it's just in the ruckus of that first moment. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. So I had such a strong start planned for this video, and you know, that's what happens sometimes. You think you're going to do great. But I would love to hear what we're grateful for as we come to the end of the year together. We've been doing this. Hey, Kevin and Roseanne from Canberra Hiking Happens are in the house. So glad that y'all are here. Yeah, we don't do rigid stuff around here. Like, we don't do resolutions. We are pretty calm, pretty experienced in our lives, as we're all of a certain age pretty much. And some people love resolutions. I don't mind resolutions, actually. But a lot of people aren't so wild about those. So we do things like we have words of the year. Some people were mentioning their words of the year last week, which is really great. I have a phrase this year, but sometimes it helps to talk about what we're grateful for before we even do that. So I wanted to share some gratitudes, especially for Vlogmas, because I'm working on my Vlogmas recap video. And it's just like there's so much gratitude. I loved the Vlogmas experience that I created on my channel. And a lot of that is because of the community that was just so ever present in the comments. And one of my most things I'm super grateful for is that when I go and visit y'all on your channels, I find you engaging with each other. And I'm like, wait a second. And that makes me so happy, because in my life there aren't that many opportunities to introduce people as easily as they are here on YouTube. Sheila, your word is essentials. Essentials has a lot of meanings to you. Well, that's great. If you want to say anything more, we'd love to hear what essentials means to you. There might be someone who hasn't come up with their word, and it might help them. Oh, Chris is back from her last appointment of the year, and so she's able to be here with us. I'm grateful for that too, Chris. It's always a pleasure to see you. Chris was one of the guest stars on Vlogmas this year on this channel. If you have not checked out the playlist, you could go through the playlist and see all the incredible people who are guest stars. And then there were some times it was just me chattering away. So. And I'm grateful that I had guest stars, and I'm grateful that sometimes I chatted away on my own. So I think since you folks on live are so loyal. Also, if you haven't liked the live yet, I'd appreciate if you do that. Hey, Cheryl, good to see you. Rebounding with Cheryl's in the house. One thing that I'm doing in February that I haven't talked about yet in the open, so we're going to talk about it here now. It will also be on the Vlogmas recap. But in February, when I will be house sitting, because remember, January, I'm going on this road trip, which I'm really grateful for. Yes, Rhonda's grateful for her YouTube community too. Isn't it amazing? It is so amazing. So I'll be road tripping in January, and then I'll get settled in February. And I'm going to do a series called Visual Love Notes, Moving Forward with Love. And so what I will do is I'll have guests again. And it'll be a 2-week series February 7th through 21st. And people will be able to submit videos for anywhere from 30 seconds to 3 minutes or so, talking about what they love. And that could be a person, that could be a place, that could be an experience, that could be a memory, that could be anything. And I was wondering what I wanted to do, and then I heard an audio love note, or an audio Christmas greeting. It wasn't a love note. It was an audio Christmas greeting on a podcast that I listened to, and the listeners called in with these very vivid audios, and I was just like, oh, this is great. We could do that, because I was trying to figure out what to do in February. So just put that in the back of your mind. Think about, what do you love? And it's about moving forward with love. So it's about movement. It's about growth. It's about joyful experiences. So let me get back to the comments here. Okay, so Sheila says, essential that, okay, she's not buying more than she really needs. Essential that I take care of myself physically, emotionally, and spiritually. That's amazing. Love that, Sheila. There's a lot of meaning there. Rhonda says, I connected with several of the creators you had on your vlog. Miss, well, just imagine all the joy we can have at Valentine's. We did talk about this, Rhonda. We were talking about how to do this, but I made up a description, and that was really fun to do. And I will be making a whole page that people can go and see kind of what the expectations are. It's like I learned so much. I'm very grateful about all that I learned doing Vlogmas. So I expect that this will be much smoother. I'm also going to have a date that you need to turn them in by, which is January 27th, I believe is the date that I gave, so that I will have adequate time to get the editing done long before the publication, long before I post the videos. I plan to get these done and scheduled, so it'll be much easier on me. So, hi Julie, how are you? Or July, if you say your name is. Let's see. Heather's out there asking me about my birthday. I'm not exactly sure why, Heather. Thank you, Kane Rowe, for taking off that message. Heather, I'm ancient. I'm ancient. What is it that Chris Kringle said? Chris Kringle on Miracle on 34th Street had a joke about his age. I can't remember what he said, but that's how old I am. I'm ancient. I'm old, and I'm proud of it. So, one of the famous Beatles songs is I'm going to be that age in January. Na, 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 na. Anyway, so yes, I'm having a birthday celebration based on that song, which I think will be really fun. Okay, so what are y'all grateful for? We've heard a few gratitudes. I'd love to hear some more. What are you grateful for as we're closing out the year? Is there anything in particular over the year that you have not really paid attention to yet? And now that we're in this week between Christmas and New Year's, all of a sudden there's space to think about it. One of the things I'm grateful for that just happened this morning, as I was looking up stuff for the visual love notes theme and moving forward with love, I actually found a written love note from my dad, which of course made me cry. Written in December of 2019. For those who don't know, my dad died in April of 2021. So I saw him at the beginning of 2020 and then never saw him in person again. Sheila is grateful for her health. And Kay and Rose doing a great job moderating over there. I don't even know what was said, but I appreciate it. It's rough. It was rough. But I was so happy to see that he had written a love note. It was really a big blessing. It's like he wrote about remembering the holidays that he'd spent with my family, my children, he meant. And it's so perfect because if you're on my Facebook, if you're a Facebook friend of mine, I publish something called Good Morning Love every day. It's kind of like Seinfeld because it's not particularly funny, but it's just about nothing. It's something I write a note to my Facebook world just talking about my life. And I wrote about Flagstaff and holidays. So it seemed very synchronistic that happened. Oh my goodness. I guess that's Kevin who's chopping ice off the walk-in deck today. It's hard to find gratitude. It's raining here. Is it snowing there or is it raining? Or is it, it's a snowy mix, Kevin. I was getting rained on earlier. Was a bittersweet moment for me. And I'm so grateful that I still have those. Bye, Heather. Good to see you. Good to see you today. I am so grateful that I got to have that moment, and it was important. It felt good. So, and I am sorry, Kevin, that you're not feeling very grateful today. It's kind of you to be here. Oh, okay. So it's rainy there too. Kevin and Roseanne also live in New Jersey, for those of you who don't know. So, my daughter's in South Jersey, and they are having rain. An inch of ice. Oh, that's the worst. Probably the biggest issue here is that my driveway didn't get adequately shoveled, because the church people usually shovel or plow, and they didn't. And so I was out there shoveling on Sunday, and they don't like to get caught. I mean, it's not that church doesn't want to get caught, but they don't like the thought of me having to shovel. But it's like, look, we have to get the trash cans out. And so, oh, you got all ice. My mom hated ice storms when I was growing up. My mom just hated ice storms. A Californian. A little fact is, my dad was born in California. My mom moved to California when she was 4 years old. So to be a second generation Californian, because I was born in California, is really rare. Ugh. I don't like the thought of that. I'm also so scared. I'm so scared of driving in ice. I drove over High Point today, and it was smooth. It was foggy, but it was smooth. Chris says we're having very warm weather the whole past week. I woke up to gale force winds in the 50s, which is kind of a shock compared to your balmy Christmas. I wonder if Rhonda's still here to tell us about Christmas in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So I was hearing some people talking about Christmas in the 80s. The Christmas in the Central Valley of California is actually pretty foggy and cold, which is different too. Hi, yes, I do. Hi, Tracy. I do lives on Mondays at this time, and then on Wednesdays, I'm not doing it because it's New Year's Eve, but on Wednesdays, I usually do a poetry live, either at 9 or at 4, just depends. Oh, oh my goodness, it was in the 80s, but it's 37 right now. Oh my goodness. Sheila fell on ice 15 years ago, didn't get back up, in 3 days in the hospital, lots of plates and screws in your leg. See, that's what Kevin's trying to avoid. Oh man, by cutting all that ice down off of his deck. It is windy and snowy and cold in Michigan. That's amazing. I mean, it's just amazing for me to think of so many different weather patterns. So, okay, so we've gotten through gratitude. Corpus Christi is warmer than Dallas-Fort Worth area. Okay, so the Texans are reporting in. Okay, intentions. So we talked about gratitude. Great, good. Cheryl says she has a friend in Jersey City. Is that close to me? Not particularly close. It's that's at northeastern New Jersey. I'm in northwestern New Jersey. When I was a kid, I used to watch, well, for one summer, one glorious 15-year-old summer, I would go see a minor league baseball team play, the Jersey City Indians. And you know, when you're 15, a 15-year-old teenage girl, seeing all those minor league baseball players is pretty exciting, especially when they pay attention to you, because the minor league baseball players were like anywhere from, 18, 19 to like 25. And so of course they paid attention to 15-year-old girls, but that was just fabulous, I thought. But Roosevelt Stadium has since been torn down. Oh, negative 10 degrees, 10 below in Iowa. Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, that's right. So intention. Thank you for nudging me, Kevin. Kevin of K and Row Hiking Happens. So we're doing, okay, here goes Chris. Thank you. You two are reminding me of this stuff. I intend to get some good writing and contemplating in this week in regard to 2026 intentions and special focus areas. Wonderful. I'm so glad. I'm so glad about that, Chris. Other people, would you like to state your intentions? That would be fantastic. Your intentions can be for this week. Your intentions can be your word of the year. Sheila's told us about her essential word of the year. I have a phrase which is curate conviviality. Curate conviviality, which I'll be doing as I drive across the country, both the trip east to west and the trip west to east and everywhere else. I tend to be a curator of conviviality. I tend to create conviviality. I'm one of those people who tries to create that cordial, fun, joyful, memorable experiences wherever I go, as y'all might imagine. In fact, now I think about it, Vlogmas was kind of curating conviviality. And Sheila's intending to think about the essentials in her life. Kevin and I was intending to have the family room painted this week before the furniture comes. That's very exciting that you're getting that furniture. Rhonda, her intention for this week is to work on preparing for a free webinar she wants to do on Mondays to support those starting out the new year with self-improvement in mind. That is wonderful, Rhonda. That is right up my alley. I've done many webinars. A funny story is, before webinars, I taught classes and teleseminars where we did these actually on the telephone. I know it's crazy, but yes, we used to do that. It was quite fun, actually. Okay, good. Cheryl and Chris are connecting, which is awesome. And one thing that's really cool that you're doing that, Rhonda, is that so often we start out well, or we start out strong, but if we don't have support, then we might not continue if we're making resolutions or working on self-improvement throughout the season. Whew. Okay, so that's interesting. Cheryl lived in Corpus Christi, but now she moved to Florida. Sheila said last year was renewal because you separate after 40 years of marriage. Definitely a time for renewal. And thinking about what is essential for you to create it. That's a really wonderful transition to go from. I'm guessing that the renewal year was a challenge, and I hope that you're feeling better. Is Tracy still here? I'm really glad that Tracy is able to get here. This is Tracy from I'm trying to think, I can remember your name. It's the cat channel. I think it's Cobus. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, Coba Cattails is also named Tracy. So we have two Tracys with an IE that are in our community. So if you're just coming into the room, we're talking about gratitude and intention. We're stating our intentions for this week and this year. We're sharing our words of the year, some of us, or our themes for the year. And we're also sharing what we're grateful for. So any of those is welcome. Uh-oh, power just went out. Some wild weather out there. And if you'd also be sure to like the live, that helps. I appreciate that so much. Yes, challenge is an understatement of the year. I totally get that. When I look back at chapters like that in my life, yeah, I have been spending some time thinking about that this last week. And my daughter asked me today, she called and she's like, what are you doing? And I was talking about some of what I'm doing. And I'm like, wow, I'm amazed that I'm doing these things as I'm planning for my future. And I'm, it's like I actually have professionals working with me on certain things. And in the past, things were so desolate that I never imagined that I would be in the position that I am in today. So I hope that holds out some light for you, Sheila, or anyone else who's watching who is facing challenges. I mean, we all have challenges. All of us have challenges, but periods of time like that, when you're splitting up after 40 years, yeah, my heart's out reaching out for you. And I hope that sometimes you find some of the content that we share here inspiring and enriching, because I always try to keep the real talk with the it's okay, yes, I'm a spiritual person. That's not a secret to me at all. In fact, the house that I'm living in right now is owned by a church. My daughter was a pastor of the church next door, and she got a job at a different church in a different part of the state. And so she moved and left, and I stayed in the house. So I always say that I have my own unique Julie theology. I think that many of us who do have our own theology. So, and I think that God likes it that way. So there you go. There's a little bit more about my spirituality. So I'm always happy to talk about those subjects. It's something that I've talked and written about quite a bit. So I'm totally open with that. Okay. And I was going to say, every day in my morning practices, I spend time in meditation and prayer and writing and creativity, I believe, is also spiritual for me. So it has very much a spiritual dimension. So I hope all of that is helpful. All right, we're at 20 minutes. We'll give this about 5 more minutes. Again, I'm glad that y'all are here. If you're just coming in the room, we talk about gratitude and intention. Right now, we're being grateful for this week, for this year. We're talking about intentions for this week. And next year, anything goes. Have conversation with one another. We have a really open, loving community here. So you're free to, people are talking about the weather where they are. We have people here from Texas. We have people where it's 80 degrees, people where it's negative 10 degrees. We have Tracy lost power. Yeah. Okay. Sure. I'm trying to see if I missed anything. Okay. Yeah, we're all here to support one another. Whoops. All right, so I also want to say that starting next week, I'll be back to my regular Wednesday and Monday schedule. I've always do Monday noon here. I like to kick off the week with gratitude and intention. I need it. It's pretty selfish of me. I need to focus in on gratitude. I need to remember to be grateful. And sometimes when we start the week and I'm like hustle, hustle, hustle on Monday, I love Mondays. And Sundays, ironically, are my busiest day of the week. They've slowed down some now, but it used to be really, really super busy. I'm in the choir at church, and so I need to be at church by earlier, 45 minutes earlier than people who aren't in the choir. And then church, and sometimes I do the children's church. I love doing children's church. It's so much fun. And then after church, I used to have a book club. I had a class and a book club, and then I would, when book club was over, I would just get in my car and drive because that calms me down. But luckily I'm going to be taking a class starting in January again. So it'll be busy, but not as hectic as it has been. Okay, let's see if anybody else has said anything while I was gone. Oh, thank you. Oh, Chris loves Mondays best of all, too. Rhonda said, good way to start the week. Hey, Grandma Moore's in the house. So good to see you. And it is a great way to start the week. Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl. I'm glad that you enjoy it also. And if you want to spread the word and invite other friends, everybody is welcome. A message is being held for review. Let me see. Yes, Pochuck Mountain. That's right. Kevin and Roseanne are going to walk Pochuck Mountain with me, which for the rest of you really might not have any meaning, but it is a part of, I think it's the, is it number 2, section 2 in New Jersey, and I had a horrible experience going over Pochuck Mountain with a not so great person, and it scarred me. And so we will be walking Pochuck Mountain in the spring. So I'm excited about that. And I'm working, I'm doing my walks, I'm doing extra walking and extra hiking, and I'm really looking forward to being in California where I will continue that training. I'm hoping to get to some of the state parks on the way back. I'm hoping to get to state parks in Utah and do some hiking there. The one thing I probably won't do is go way up north to Glacier and Yellowstone. But I am thinking about how to get those in 2027. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited. One of my goals, I'll tell you all, our intention, is I intend to do 26 hikes/walks of 5 miles or more. So that means I haven't done a hike of 5 miles in quite a while. I used to, but I'm going to start doing them regularly. And that's part of that intention that Kay and Ro were talking about. So building, and not stopping and not letting my brain get in the way, because sometimes my brain gets in the way. Yes, I was going to say maybe even before that, another one of my things that I love are bridges, and I really love Roebling, who designed the Brooklyn Bridge, which I need to walk over. And he has a bridge, a walking bridge that is really close to where Kay and Ro live. And I don't know how we discovered that connection. I was just jabbering on or something. And next thing I knew, Kevin was sharing a video they had done on this bridge, which I had watched a long time ago and had forgotten. But oh yeah, because I was talking about the Delaware and something canal. Hey, Rhonda, come on out to New Jersey. You can go hiking with all of us too. And or maybe when I'm in Texas, we can all go for a walk. I won't be up to 5 miles by the time I'm in January, but we could do some walking. We could do a special Kay and Ro hiking happens walkabout there in Dallas Fort Worth area. I think I might be going to a rodeo while I'm there too. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And go to the Cowgirl Museum. These are all really cool things that are coming up in Julie's life. So before I go, I wanted to remind you all that I have a big plan in February for a 2-week series called Visual Love Notes, Moving Forward with Love, where I will have guest stars, just like I did during Vlogmas. That was wildly popular, the guest stars. And I literally do not know how I came up with that. And, a minute ago, Sheila asked if I was spiritual. And to me, that coming up with having guest stars on a Vlogmas, I think that did not come from me, because if that came, I would have been too scared to do that. I think that came from outside of me. Julie, do this series and you're going to have guests, because I love collaboration so much. And yes, divine inspiration, absolutely. Because one of the things I love about theater is the collaborative part of it. And, that you are making a play. One thing I tell my actors when I'm a director is I say, you will never, ever work with these same people again in front of the same audience again. It's a once in a lifetime art experience. And that's kind of how I look at videos, is that it's probably not true for everybody. But for me as an artist, and I like to think that I'm also an artist of life, is that it's a once in a lifetime work of art. And the thing on YouTube is that unless you take them down, they're out there. And so that's pretty cool. In fact, I want to share at some point, I want to share some of my older videos because they crack me up. I had a video, I was thinking of sharing Vlogmas, but I didn't have a chance to. I'm already planning for next year, by the way. I'm going to next year at the end of my videos, how a couple times I had just like, let's drive, because people love seeing places driving. I'm going to read a Christmas carol at the end of each Vlogmas episode. And so I've been recording 5-minute chunks of driving in the snow. And I'm going to read A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, because it is a fabulous read. And I've been in 2 versions of A Christmas Carol, and they were so fun to perform. The only thing, I won't be doing a British accent, because if British people show up, I might be embarrassed. In fact, I would be embarrassed. When I was in cabaret, I played Fräulein Schneider. And so I did a Fräulein Schneider. If you don't know, she is the woman who owns the apartment building type thing that the others live in. Sally Bowles and the like, prostitutes, soldiers, whatever. But I played Fräulein Schneider, and I had a German accent. And one time this German woman came through the line after the show and complimented me. She said, "Oh, I'm just an old German woman too." It was so embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. The Americans think I'm great. I had Americans say, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm from Bakersfield." And they say, no, and then I would put on the accent and I would say, "Oh, you mean when I talk like this?" They said, yes, where are you from? I'm still from Bakersfield, so. But it's hard. I was going to say, it's really kind of hard for me when I read Dickens. See, here's my copy of A Christmas Carol. When I read this, some of the lines that I said in character are the same lines that are in this book. So it's challenging to not go into the British accent, but it gives me some time now to work on that. But the other thing is Christmas Carol's in the public domain, so there's no copyright issues with it, and I'm really excited. I'm going to just do 5 minutes a day, and I figure in the, oh, I found some money in my book. I should be able to get through, if we do 25 days again. The book is about a 2-hour read. It's a short book. So we should be able to get through it. And then we might have a special episode to do the last stave on its own. We'll see. But I'm just excited to be starting already because I loved Vlogmas so much. I really had a great time. I'm so glad. The other thing, and you'll see this video, it's coming out tomorrow morning, is that it was like video making boot camp, and it was stressful, which is why there I am. Oh, because I got a phone call. All right, so we are going to say we've been here long enough. I might have lost sound. So thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to spend time with you, and we will see you next week, same time, same place. Take care now. Bye.